Why Not Be Reckless, aka Why Not Be Cast, one of the HCS commentators, analysts, and grassroots content creators. And we have another HCS report where we're going over all the drama that's been going down. And on top of that, a little bit of Rostermania. Let's get right into it. I don't know if you guys were watching APG stream recently, but man, was it going down. He even had Avisy actually on the call as well. And Avisy kind of talking about his experience with I guess coming up in the scene, his experience with complexity, and what's been going down. Before we get to that, though, we'll talk about some of the Rostermania stuff. I feel like you guys want the juicy stuff. We'll give that to you right off the rip, and we'll talk about the drama that was going down. So with Avisy ultimately on the stream and some stuff going down in the chat, a lot of people were bringing up Spartan in APG stream, and apparently to the point where Spartan felt like he had to make a quick little tweet and kind of address some stuff. So I haven't got the chance to read this all in full. I'm about to read it right now, so I'm experiencing it for the first time along with some of you guys who haven't actually seen this yet, and we'll talk about Precision's response and then kind of what's been going on Rostermania wise. We'll recap a little bit and then talk about what's going on in further as well. So number one, Tyler Spartan says Precision was one of the worst teammates. That's how we're starting, man. Hold on, let me take a sip of my coffee. That's how we started. God bless. Number one, Precision was one of the worst teammates I've ever had in terms of attitude, mental, and accountability. Nothing to do with individual skill or talent. I told him at the events he's one of the best players in the game, and I meant that. Love that. I did nothing but try to help him in and out of the game. I was blamed fully for overall behavior and mentality after he was dropped, and that is insane to me, but it's whatever. Happy he found motivation to play the game more than 2 hours a day and not just scrim, get off, and play Valorant all day. So, I mean, right off the rip, obviously talking about the decision that that led to ultimately Complexity wanting to drop Precision. It seems like Spartan was for that, and apparently just from what I'm hearing from one side, want to just play the game more, and also mentioned attitude and mentality wise. Now, you guys know I'm not in the locker room, so you know there's always three sides to every story. You know, you have one side, the other side, and then somewhere in the middle is the truth and whatnot. But this is how Spartan feels. This is from his perspective, and talking about Precision. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So I wanted to change. Not to mention, Precision was texting Mento not a couple of days before the change happened about wanting a change, insinuating me and or Huss needed to go. Huss and Precision were best friends until after all this, and now they're not. That tells you anything. I remember hearing that Huss and Precision were quite the duo for a while, but apparently Precision wanted to make a change on Complexity, and I guess vice versa. He wanted to make a change as well, according to Spartan in his own words. But it looks like that's it as far as the Precision point of view. And like I said, always three sides to the story. Somewhere in the middle is the truth. And I think at the end of the day, this is a move that's just simply worked out best, probably for both sides. Like, I feel like Complexity are gonna figure things out and they're gonna be just fine. Spartan is super talented, an amazing shot, emotional leader, and can really rally the troops. I love Spartan. On the other side of things, I love Precision as well. The dude is an absolute freaking gunner, a playmaker, and a game changer as well. Dude, if you're not a fan of Precision and you have seen what he's been able to do outside of the Complexity stint, I don't know what you've been watching. The man really is the real deal. I was excited to have Spartan and Precision on the same team because I felt like that's a ton of talent. Like, there's no way that this doesn't work. However, it didn't. At the end of the day, sometimes play styles, personalities, just ideologies of how to play the game, whatever it is, we've seen teams on paper look incredible and just not pan out. So I think the separation is best on both sides. So I wish Spartan luck on one side. I wish Precision luck on the other side of things. And hopefully at this point, everybody can just move on amicably. Sparty has the keys to Complexity, and they need to stop building around him. That was a quote apparently, and I wonder if that was a quote that was said in APG's chat or said by APG. I'll be honest, I'm not sure, but I know that this tweet kind of stemmed from the APG stream. Narrative is odd to me. If that was the case, Huss wouldn't have never been replaced, never wanted Huss dropped. I went to war to keep him on the team, and I was outvoted 3-1. Everyone agreed on Julian. I'm guessing with Julian being Avisy, agreed on him joining the roster in place of Huss. I mean, I think I heard APG kind of mention this a little bit. I think the whole quote of as far as Spartan has the keys to complexity was more of is that he's been on the team the longest. It seems like everybody else from that original roster is no longer a part of it, but he's still there, and kind of saying that complexity chose him to ultimately put players around him and try to build a roster around him as opposed to somebody else, which I mean makes sense to me. I feel like Spartan he has a big stream, big personality you could build off. He's gonna sell merch, he's gonna sell you as an organization, and he's also absolutely nasty. When Spartan's playing at his best, I mean, what is he, top 10? Some might even say top 5 in the league when he's playing at his absolute best. We just got to figure out how to get complexity to that point, however it is that looks like. I mean, I think you still be, I guess the quote unquote the face of the team. And even if and still get outvoted, but I kind of see where Spartan's going with this and whatnot. He's like, look, man, I just want to play the game, and especially recently, it feels like he's been trying to stay out of the whole drama side of things and whatnot. And I do commend him for that. But all of this just kind of coming up out of nowhere, it seems, at least from my perspective. But yeah, apparently outvoted 3-1. They wanted to bring Avisy in place of Huss, and I think Huss is fantastic. I'm also a big believer in Avisy as well. So, but I could see how that move wanted to be made by multiple players. Julian left and was not dropped. He could be a little poop sometimes, but I love the kid, and I hope he keeps growing as a person and player. No hard feelings or anything at all towards him leaving. I wish him success and hope he knows I'm here if he needs anything. Very mature response. I mean, very mature response. A player ultimately decided he wants to leave your team. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Avisy wasn't on complexity long, but as you just heard, it was Avisy who decided to ultimately leave and was not dropped from the roster again. We'll talk about that a little later. And I'm happy that, again, it seems like a mature response to that ultimately happening. Wasn't going to say a word because, to be quite honest, I don't care what people think of me, and I never have. I wish I could say the same. Good God. I care what people think of me all the time, and maybe too much. The only reason I'm saying something is because y'all are spinning some poop about me that's upsetting my fiance, and she'd like me to defend myself against the nonsense. And I love that. By the way, love that out of his fiance. Fiance obviously, feels strongly about Spartan and wants to make sure that his name isn't being kind of thrown around in the mud and whatnot. And yeah, much love. Don't have much more to say. All I can add is that if people want to keep pushing the weird narrative, the receipts are all in text, and I have multiple recorded scrim VODs from when Precision was on the team to show the lack of professionalism. Wow. Everyone have a good day. I'll be carrying on my merry way now. The only thing I will say, I hope that's the one. I'm always scared of like me being in a call with somebody or a conversation with somebody and like them recording and like me not knowing about it. Like, I hope everybody kind of knew that they were being recorded. But I mean, other than that, I think at the end of the day, like, it's been a while since Precision's been on the team. I don't know why this keeps coming. I'm not saying that Spartan's bringing it up himself, but it seems like it just keeps coming up in general. And it's like, dude, just like, let the two go their separate ways and let them both thrive. Precision's is on Envy right now, and Envy are great. And although Spartan is on Complex and Complexity haven't looked like ultimately the team that we really, really want them to look like, again, it's not the end of the world. I think they can get there. I like this Complexity roster. I like Spartan a lot, and I believe they can figure it out. I just think that we all, as a community, need to just stop bringing it up. It didn't work. Sometimes that happens. Let it die and let them both live their life. I feel like as Spartan, from what I've noticed, compared to compared to like previous seasons, Spartan's been chilling. He hasn't been like, getting into the drama. He's been kind of like doing his own thing, flying under the radar. I'm sure Precision is really happy with Envy, dude. They were freaking amazing online and on LAN. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. A little bit of drama there. Precision did respond, and again, another mature response that we're seeing here. Love this, by the way. There's nothing for me to say or anyone. I'm sorry. There's nothing for me to say or anyone I need to explain myself to who doesn't already know me or my side of the story. I wish complexity nothing but the best, and it's time to move on. I agree. That's it. Both players and sides just need to move on with their lives and whatnot and thrive. Maybe not together, but still thrive, just individually. And I ultimately think they will. But as far as the Rostermania stuff and what kind of led to some of the things, I guess we'll recap here just a little bit with FaZe. There's a rumor that Trippy and Peng will be joined by Lucid and Snakebite, creating 3/4 to that season one Optic roster, and then bring it in Snakebite. Meanwhile, there was rumors about Wutum potentially being scouted by some top teams, including maybe Gen G. But I remember APG also said that kind of got shot down a little bit, and that just the path just didn't lead to I guess a way that it made sense, really. So there might be a chance that Wutum stays ultimately in EU and alongside Nemesis, which is not bad. I mean, they had an amazing finish at Dallas, and just continue to get better and better. Rumors at one point that Precision may be joining FaZe, but it seems like Snakebite's will be joining instead, and it seems like Envy is going to be staying together. Nothing wrong with that. Again, Envy also fantastic. Want to see more of them. The rumored SSG roster potentially stellar, eco, suppressed, and falcated. I guess a move that might leave people kind of maybe with some question marks. Obviously, Lucid and Snakebite have like bigger and maybe sexier names to them, like as far as like on paper wise, but as far as ideology wise and stylistically how both teams want to ultimately play together, it seems like this FaZe roster will definitely play how they want to play. Maybe a little bit of a slower, more methodical game plan, where SSG want to play faster and maybe suppressed, and Falcator will be able to complement that play style a little bit more. Gen G kind of still up in the air because we know that they did separate from Common and Breaking Shot. Common confirmed that, I believe, in APG's chat, where Breaking Shot actually tweeted out that he was a free agent. And there is some new news with this Cloud9 roster. Got this from APG stream as well, is that we know Septify and Sab are staying together, but we don't know about Boo Boo Doo and Lethal. And actually, we may know a third member, but Boo Boo Doo and Lethal alongside Cloud9. I thought the roster move actually made sense, but apparently they didn't actually exactly hit where they wanted to. So there's a rumor that team no longer, and instead Avisy, who ultimately left Complexity, may be joining Cloud9, and we can see a fourth player come in. Now, when I think about this Cloud9 roster, I think about Sab, Septify, and now newly brought on Avisy. Well, over here, I'm like, well, who's one player that may be able to join this roster? Especially because we have, all of Omit, who are up in the air as well. So you have Huss, Ezzo, Mortally, Collect. You have Common, Breaking Shot, Lethal, obviously not Lethal Boo because they just finished leaving that roster. Who could be their fourth? And if not, like trying out Breaking Shot or something like that, or like even Collect, what if they go an entirely different direction? And what if they bring back Suspector? I don't know if anybody's talking about this, but do we just forget that Cloud9 was Septify, Sab, and Suspector from last year? And Suspector decided that he wanted to take a little bit of a break from pro-competitive gameplay. So was doing more of the consecration stuff, was playing on some open bracket teams and playing in the free-for-alls a lot. But he tweeted out that he was a free agent. It sounded like he wanted to get back into the pro scene. Is there a role? Maybe Suspector joins Cloud9 again, and we have 3/4 of that roster plus Avisy. That could be really cool, but it also could be a entirely different direction from where things go. I'm just trying to theory craft a little bit. But right now, Omit have yet to have a roster just yet. A lot of question marks here, but we do know there's drama, but there's also some roster moves that are going down, and we love us some Rostermania, and I hope this all works out for the best for everybody, because instead of fighting each other, you gotta be fighting Optic. Optic out here winning every tournament from lower bracket round 1. Stop fighting each other and start fighting Optic Gaming. And if you like this type of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below on the YouTube. If you're on the Twitch watching it live, what's up? And until next time, I'll catch you on next HCS report. Peace out.